Listen, everybody, we are experiencing some kind of disaster.
No, it's the end of days. Oh my God.
Something in the mist! Shut the doors! Shut the doors!
I don't know whether it's man-made or natural, but I do know that it's definitely not supernatural.
Nobody else heard that sound? What sound? I don't know. Like something was like pressing against the door.
But the only way we're going to help ourselves is to seek rescue. We're going out.
Tie this around your waist.
Or for?
It'll let us know you got at least 300 feet.
There's nothing out there. Nothing in the mist.
What if you're wrong?
Then I guess the joke would be on me.
It is time to take sides. The saved and the damned. Read the good book. It calls for blood.
Think something got in? Guys, I hear something.
Don't you know the truth? We are being punished.
You try it. We have to get out of here.
Who knows how far this mist has spread?
It could be the whole world for all we know. Wouldn't make us any less dead.
Daddy, don't go. If something happens, cut and run. You can't go out. I won't allow it. Won't allow it.
It was them who brought down the final wrath upon us.
We want the core.
That's what brought down the wrath of God.
Promise you won't let the monsters get me.
Are those bugs?
Not like any I've ever seen.
There came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given power, even as the scorpions of the earth have power. Wow. Look at those stingers.
Revelation 9. And the fifth angel sounded, and I saw a star fall from heaven unto the earth, and to him was given the key of the bottomless pit. And he opened the bottomless pit, and there arose a smoke out of the pit, as the smoke of a great furnace, and the sun and the air were darkened by reason of the smoke of the pit. And there came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth, and unto them was given power, as the scorpions of the earth have power. And it was commanded them that they should not hurt the grass of the earth, neither any green thing, neither any tree, but only those men which have not the seal of God in their foreheads. And to them it was given that they should not kill them, but that they should be tormented 5 months. And their torment was as the torment of a scorpion, when he striketh a man. And in those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them. And the shapes of the locusts were like unto horses prepared unto battle, and on their heads were as it were crowns like gold, and their faces were as the faces of men, and they had hair as the hair of women, and their teeth were as the teeth of lions. And they had breastplates as it were breastplates of iron, and the sound of their wings was as the sound of chariots of many horses running to battle. And they had tails like unto scorpions, and there were stings in their tails, and their power was to hurt men 5 months. And they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue hath his name Apollyon. One woe is past.
I'm going to pause that there. Guys, this video that I'm delivering today, may be the most difficult video I've ever had to deliver. There was an eventuality to this ministry from the day it started. From the very day that this ministry started, I knew there was an eventuality, something that eventually would have to happen. I knew that there was a fire coming. I had no idea that I would be the guy that would be sounding an alarm, telling the world that this invasion that I just let you hear out of the Bible is about to happen. Now, I know that's a lot to kind of wrap your brain around. Believe me, I've been crying, yelling, trying to emotionally deal with what I have to deal with. No one can understand what it's like to deliver what I'm going to deliver to you. You'd have to be the guy delivering it. It's like sky surfing, I told you. You'll never know what it is until you do it. So there's a reality coming now, and I have to be the person to deliver it. I can't be my usual happy-go-lucky, try and keep everybody in a good mood Johnny. That Johnny's still here, but there's a level of seriousness and extreme sobriety to this message that you must understand what I'm delivering now. I'm going to give you guys a little parachute lesson right now. So I'm going to give you a way to understand your safety net so you understand, because this locust invasion that's coming is certain. It's sure. It's guaranteed. It's coming. It's coming very quickly. When I say very quickly, guys, you know, I don't do dates, but my birthday is March 16th, 3/16. I would be very surprised to see my 58th birthday. Doesn't mean I won't. However, I'm going to give you some testimonies. I'm going to give you data, just straight up data, with testimonies like Brandon's father that passed away. Supernatural. Now here's the thing. You can believe what I'm delivering, and by the way, even if you get to believe it, it's not because you chose to. It's because you were chosen to. Those that don't believe it, I love you in Christ, and I mean this sincerely. I'm so sorry. I mean it. I'm so sorry for you. That if you don't see it, and you don't understand it, and you don't receive it, I've said this a lot of times, a man convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. So I could sit there and I could show you that the Vatican, the whole thing's a snake. I could show you the largest altar in the world's a dead sheep with its tongue sticking out. I could show you a video that proves I walked into Starbucks and I told the manager, that guy's going to draw a picture of me with the dead sheep on my face in the image he draws. And he did. He drew the same thing as the largest altar in the world. How could some human being draw an image of me with a hidden dead sheep on the image of my face when there's a hidden dead sheep that's the largest altar in the world without being connected to it? It's impossible because he's connected to it. That's how. Anyway, so I could sit there and I could give you so much data, you know, you'd get tired of hearing it. I'm not here to convince anyone. I'm here to present what the Lord God has presented to me. So I've been praying. I've been really stressed out about how do I deliver all this. I've gotten so many confirmations in the past 48 hours. Most people would freak out. I can assure you, most people that have received what I've received in the past 48 hours would maybe lose their mind. So I'm going to deliver to you what was delivered to me. I'm going to show you God's timing in it. I'm going to, you know, just hand off what was handed off to me. But I told you, I'm going to give you guys a skydiving lesson, because when you go skydive, and you have to believe that that parachute's going to open. You got to trust the parachute. There's what's called gear fear. People die. They literally die from what we call gear fear. So sometimes when you have a malfunction on your main canopy and you look up, if you look up and you think too long about it and you look at your altimeter and you're constantly losing altitude, well, if your main canopy is not landable, well, you got to get rid of it. So you got to cut it away. So you have a handle. I'm going to show you some stuff. And you got to cut it away. And then you got to go to reserve. Now, there's even what's called an AAD on parachutes. For those professional skydivers, we have AADs, automatic activation device. And the reason I'm showing you this is because I want you to understand. After I show you what I'm going to show you in this video today, after you see what I'm going to show you, you're going to know that this xenomorph locust invasion, you're going to know it's coming. You're going to probably wrestle with some fear. And I'm using this skydiving thing to give you an analogy so you understand that our AAD, our automatic activation device, is Jesus Christ. You don't even have to worry about it, because if I'm unconscious, let's say I go out the door, I'm sky surfing or something, and my board hits the fuselage, which it has. I've gone out the door and had my whole body slammed against the fuselage of the plane, and that board can, knock you unconscious. Well, if you're unconscious and you're just flopping through the air falling, how do you pull your parachute? Oh, that's a bit of a problem. And so we have what's called an AAD, automatic activation device. I'm going to show it to you, and then I'm going to show you the difference between life and death. I want to show you something. This necklace right here, you see that little pin hanging down? That is your closing pin, your pull pin. That's what holds everything in, something that small, through what's called your closing loop. You see that little thing? Did you know the difference between life or death can be that's life? And did you know if you turn it upside down, that's death? Because when you throw out your pilot chute, if your closing pin isn't seated correctly, if it's not up, if it's down, you can get a complete bag lock or a horseshoe malfunction. And even if your reserve comes out, it can blow right into it. So if you don't have this little pin seated correctly, you don't have it up like a smiley face. If you have it down like a frowny face, you have a good possibility of being killed on that jump. So I want to show you something, because I want you to understand what I'm delivering today is so serious. It's so conclusive. You'll know why I have a bell outside. You'll understand why the building is 76 inches by 200 inches. You'll know why my artwork has Adam having sex in the Garden of Eden and locusts coming out from a wall that's got a bunch of naked women on it. You'll understand that I am the guy that was supposed to warn everybody that the end of the world's coming, and it's coming with a locust invasion. And when there's a birth, when there's a human birth, what happens? The mother's water breaks. And when the water breaks, you know the baby's coming. Let me tell you something. New York is going to be a water event. It's printed on your money. I've shown you the $100 bill. There's even a bell on the $100 bill in the inkwell. There's also a blue stripe that has little holographic bells. And when you move the bill, it looks like the bells are ringing. Because the one that produced that bill used the human host body system to do it. He's running the ant farm, the angel of the bottomless pit. Okay, now let me show you something. Let's do it. Okay, now let's stop for a minute. Okay, now take a deep breath. I'm going to just chill out. I'm going to deliver stuff today that is so heavy and so serious. You need to brace yourself. I've shown you a lot of stuff already, but I'm going to show you how the Lord communicated to me that, Jonathan, you are at the door now. You need to warn them. You need to be ready to go out there and pull down on that bell. The time is coming. It is imminent. Any moment. It is imminent. I'm just doing as the Lord tells me. Okay, so I wanted to also show you again the difference between life, up, and death, down. Okay, let me do a little parachute instructional thing here with you guys. Okay, so let's see. This is my rig. I've been jumping an Infinity rig since Infinity came out. I took a chance on Infinity back when I was doing sky surfing, and Infinity was one of the new products on the market, and they looked like a good choice. They were a little less expensive than some of the other products, Vector and Talon, and so I decided to try Infinity, and I'm glad I did. So when I open this up, I'm going to show you in here. You see that red button right there? I'm going to press that, and the light's going to turn red. Let me see. This is going to be a little bit of a tricky demonstration. Okay, so now I've just initiated my AAD. And so my AAD is turned on. Let me see. And so that, and I don't have really good light right here. So my AAD is turned on. And so now this parachute knows that if I'm going over 120 miles an hour and I break my hard deck, 1,500 feet, 2,000 feet, it knows to blow out my reserve parachute because I'm going that speed and I haven't slowed down. So it's like, okay, you've hit a velocity and an altitude where if you don't have a canopy out, you're done. So this parachute now knows that, these are the circumstances. This parachute has been put on notice. Hey, this guy's going to jump. And if he's unconscious, if you don't have a slowdown in your velocity by I believe it's set at probably 1,500 feet. If you don't have a slowdown in velocity by 1,500 feet, this parachute's going to blow out your reserve canopy for you. And the reason I'm showing you this is because just like Jesus is your guaranteed automatic activation device. Because for what's coming, let me tell you something. I guarantee you for what's coming. The Holy Spirit inside of you is your AAD. Because what's coming, you're going to have to stand in the face of. And like I said, this is not an easy message to deliver. I've contemplated a lot. Are we going to have to see locusts, or are we out of here before we see these locusts? How's it work? What's the order of events? I'm just going to share with you what the Lord has shared with me, and you'll have to make your own decision. I already know what He's shown me, so I'm going to show you what He showed me. Now, right here, I'm going to show you the back of this. Oh, hopefully I didn't pull out my. There we go. Hang on one sec. I do not want to. Don't want to mess up my. Do not want to mess up my audio. Okay. But I want to show you. You see that pin? You see my closing pin? See how it's seated? It's pointing up. Okay. If that was pointing down, and I tried to deploy my parachute, it would probably do what's called bag lock. However, I might get my bridle out and I might get a bunch of trash out behind me, and that would make deploying your reserve canopy a real problem. So just like in the system that we're in, guys, I mean, just like everything the Lord shown me on a Crino, to vigorously judge from down to up. Because in this system is down. Kata dynasteo. That's what's out in this little church building. One whole wall. And I still have to do a video on that. And I'll give you guys the best video I can show you to show you what the significance of this building outside is and how profound everything is. But today's video, I'm going to show you everything the Lord's shown me and how He delivered it to me. and I'm going to give you the facts and the order of events, and then we're going to go look at data points, and we're just going to be, I mean, it's probably going to overwhelm you. I know it's overwhelmed me for days. I've just been like, "Ugh." So anyway, so let's go ahead and get started. You've got your little skydiving lesson. You understand. I'm going to use that as a way to encourage you so you can be at peace, because just like skydiving, like sky surfing, I mean, sky surfing is basically a little bit insane, really. But, you know, hey, if you want to know what it is, you got to be willing to do it. You got to be willing to go out there and risk it all to just know what it is. Did you know it's the same thing for the truth? You got to be willing to risk it all to know the truth. Yeah, the Bible says anyone who makes themselves a friend of the world makes themselves an enemy of God. Think about that. Anyone who loves the world or the things of the world has not the love of God in them. Whoa, wait, I thought the world was great. I thought you for not exactly. So all these things that we've heard in the Bible that somehow didn't quite add up, they're all going to add up. I'm going to just give you a basic statement right now. The entire earth, the system that you're in, that you call your body, okay, the entire thing was a trap. It was a snare that turned angels upside down in a system called a host body. And in that system, you are joined together with a demon, an angel and a demon in the same system. The demon is connected to the pit, where the angel of the bottomless pit keeps like a Bluetooth record. No matter where you go, you're connected, because he's one of your eyes and one of your ears. And the moment you die, if you haven't been converted, so if you don't get flipped up and cut that Bluetooth line to the pit, the record against you still stood, because you were still connected to the pit. But if your eyes become single and you get converted and you get turned up, then that record against you is cut, it's disannulled, the judgment is reversed, and you're two ups and you are ready to go home. That is your AAD. That is your automatic activation device inside of you. If you've been turned up, you're ready to go. So you don't have anything to fear now. If you're living in sin and you know you're living in sin and you're just trying to fake it, the Lord has put it to me. It is time to repent completely. Now listen, a lot of people think, oh my God, well, you know, I've been taking medication. I've been taking too much. That's okay. Just repent. Say, Lord, I'm done. If you're doing it for the wrong reasons, if you're doing anything for the wrong reasons, acknowledge it, ask for forgiveness, and turn away from it. And say, instead of adding to my medication every day or taking extra, I'll just kind of start backing off a little bit. Do you understand? If you've been looking at stuff you shouldn't be looking at on the internet, porn, stuff like that, immediately stop. Repent, ask for forgiveness, and turn the opposite direction and say, no. And when that temptation comes, start praying and say no. Because when the moment comes, let's say we're all here and then all of a sudden we hear a thunderous boom and the whole earth is like, whoa, what was that? And you know, oh my Lord, this is it. I hear the Lord say, run outside and ring the bell. You know what the last thing I want is to have in the back of my mind, well, I shouldn't have been doing this. And I'm telling you guys, I'm going to just be very frank with you. Guys, I have sciatica. I just got two new MRIs. I have pinched nerves on L4, L5 on both sides, pinched nerves. The backs of my legs hurt really bad, and it's very difficult to go to sleep sometimes. And in taking medication, I'll take Tramadol, I'll take Norco, but I don't really even want to take meds. And I won't take meds sometimes. And sometimes I will. But you have to find what's right and what you know is right. Because if you're taking them for the wrong reasons, you don't have any health issues, and you're out just popping pills just because you want to pop pills, no, don't. even knowing that I have L4, L5, even knowing I have these issues, I still am like, I just told the Lord, I really don't even want to take any meds. That would be my most preferred thing, because I don't want anything in the back of my mind even messing with me, like the enemy trying to say, whoa, you're taking medication. It's okay to take medication, but you got to be very careful. You got to be responsible, and you got to have a clear conscience. If you're taking your medication, do it with a clear conscience. I have prayed with my friends. I mean, I've been very open, like, I don't even want to take them, but I can't go to sleep. How do I go to sleep if my legs hurt so bad I can't move? Yeah, I mean, I just flop around like a fish all night long. It sucks. So is medication okay? Absolutely. I thought personally, for those of y'all that have had sciatic problems or stuff like that, tramadol I thought was a great alternative to something like narcotic. I really did. The problem is tramadol can also collapse your bowel, and I started having some bad intestinal issues because of that. Okay, now the reason I brought this up is because, do you think the Lord let me have some health issues just because he felt like I needed them? No, because he knows there's a swath of people out there that are probably watching this video going like, damn, dude, I know exactly what you're talking about, Johnny. Like, sometimes I'll say, well, you know what? I know I've only taken half a pill. Heck, if your instructions say you can take one every 4 hours, well, what's wrong with that? Well, what if you don't really need one every 4 hours? Should you take one every 4 hours? That's what I'm talking about. So that's the thing you kind of got to come to a complete understanding with between you and the Lord. And the reason I'm talking about this is because now's the time to do that. I have done this. I've said, Lord, I know, I don't want to take any meds, but man, if I don't take something today, I'm not going to be able to freaking even lay down and go to sleep. How am I going to do what I got to do? How am I going to do all my building? How am I going to do this? So, just being honest. Honesty is the key. So, there's times where I won't take anything. There's times when I've gone months where I didn't need anything. I was like, I'm good. There's times when I've had stuff and I'm like, I'll throw it all in the trash. I'm like, I don't need it. And then, a week later, I'm like, I wish I wouldn't have thrown that in the trash. So anyway, I'm just trying to be honest to help you, because I sit there with the Lord. I'll call and get a prayer partner on the phone and say, Lord, I'm asking you now for what I have to do. I'll even say, is it acceptable for me to be taking half a pill? Is it acceptable for me to do this? So it's something you should work out with you and the Lord. And that's what I do. I go to the Lord and I just say, you know everything. So could you tell me where we're at right now? I mean, I got a lot of work to do, so I won't be able to go to bed for the next 5 days, probably, if I got to go do all this. So take them responsibly, do it with a clear conscience, and if you're not sure, pray and ask, and the Lord will tell you, okay, that's my speech about that. And the reason I'm doing this is I know a lot of people have questions. And the day is coming right now where it is going to be so important that your conscience is clear and that you've talked to the Lord and said, you know what, maybe I was taking a little too much. Is it okay every now and then where you're like, you know what, I think I need a little more of a dose? Yeah. Is it okay to be doing that all the time? No. Between you and yourself and the Lord, you know what's right. Correct? Okay. There you go. So now we've had that talk, because that's something I know that everybody probably needs someone to talk to them about. Okay? Now, fornication. What does the Bible say? No fornicators. Leave. No fornicator. If you're fornicating, if you're having sex outside the covenant of marriage, then if you don't instantly say, I turn away from it, whoever you're with, whoever your partner is, say, look, I love you, but you know what? I'm sorry. I can't risk my safety, my eternal safety, so we can diddle. I mean, seriously, are you willing to do that? And if she wants you to, or he wants you to, how could they really love you, knowing that it's that serious of a thing? The Bible says no fornicators. no whoremongers, no liars. Let me tell you a little story. I'll share something with you. So I have a sports medicine guy I've known for a long time, and I don't really see him that often, but I went to see him. My right knee has been jacked up. I've had 4 knee surgeries. I've had a crap load of broken bones. So I went to see my guy, and he was prescribing some meds for pain. And when I went to him, I signed a contract saying I wouldn't do this, I wouldn't do this, I wouldn't do this. And I signed a contract. I have some friends that are in horrible condition. Their 2-year-old son drowned. They had health issues, both of them. And for me to give somebody medication that needs medication, if I had it and they needed it, it becomes a matter of, well, wait a minute. I know someone's seriously suffering. Would I give it to him? The answer is yes. But I also told my doctor. And you know what my doctor said? Thank you for being so honest, but yeah, I have to dismiss you. So I was willing to lose the ability to get rid of my own pain so someone else could get out of their pain. But I was also willing to tell the truth. Most people never would have ever said anything to their doctor. They would have probably said, never even mentioned it. I said, well, I said I wouldn't do certain things, and one of them was I wouldn't share medication. I did. But they needed it. They were in bad shape, and they didn't have any money to see their doctors, and the law of love overrode the law of the land. And I was like, what would I do? And I was like, it was a tough situation. So I'm just sharing with you now. So again, I don't want to have this day that's about to show up that I'm talking to you about right now. The reason I'm having this very honest, open discussion with you is so you can do and have your own honest discussion with whoever, or with God if you've cheated on your spouse, or you did it 20 years ago and you just buried it. Oh, well, it's a long time ago. I would get it out in the open and let God decide, not you. So God knows everything. So if you're not being forthcoming, that's just a form of lying and saying, oh, well, I don't have to say anything about it, right? I'm asking you, yes or no? Well, it is. So you got to be willing to say, I did this, or I've done this, or I did this, I shouldn't have done this, and just be honest. And the Lord honors that. But if you're not being honest, and you're hiding stuff, and you're like, no, I'm not, no, there's no way okay, that was 10 years ago I cheated on her. No way. If I tell her now, she's going to freak out. Well, guess what? With what I'm about to show you, that's coming for sure. I would rather anybody freak out on me than to deal with what's coming. That's all I'm saying. That's why I'm having this very frank discussion with you. Not a lot of people would have this discussion with you. You should have seen the look on my doctor's face when I told him. It was like, what? I was like, yeah, sorry. I was like, I had to. They really needed it, and they, my friend was in a bad way, and I've been there before. I know how bad floppy legs. Anyone have restless leg syndrome? Have you ever laid there in bed where your legs are flopping like a goldfish on a hot pavement all over the place, and you're like, oh God, somebody come in and shoot me? It sucks. Totally sucks. So if I could help somebody get out of that, it's one of those things. It's like, well, and one day we all have to give an account. I did it, but I said I did it. I admitted I did it. Okay. So anyway, there's our little let's be honest speech. Okay. That way your AAD is going to work, because guess what? If you're not honest and you're not forthcoming, it's almost like not turning that AAD on. Don't you want your automatic activation device ready to go? I do. I mean, seriously. Obviously, you've probably never seen anybody that's bounced. I have. As a matter of fact, the very guy that gave me this pen, it's It's actually a gold. This is a gold pen from a friend of mine. He bounced, and he was laying right there on the ground next to me. I mean, I got to him. I was doing a tandem. I'm a tandem instructor. I landed my tandem, and he hook turned in. He had hook turned in, and he bounced, and that kills 47% of skydivers. And he could have licked the bottom of his left shoe because his leg was snapped in half, bent over, laying right here by his face. He could have licked the bottom of his shoe. I thought for sure he was going to bleed out right then and there. His leg was snapped in half, his femur facing the opposite direction. So, you know, I'm just saying, guys, you want your AAD to work. Okay, you don't want to risk bouncing. So the way you assure your AAD is going to work is you just tell the truth. Just like I had to tell my doctor, hey, you know, I got to talk. I said, why don't you read my MRI and tell me what's up, and then we'll talk about. And he's like, okay. And then he tells me, yeah, you got a pinched nerve on the right, pinched nerve on the left, on L4, pinched right, pinched left, L5. And he's like, da, da, da. And I'm like, okay, so now I got to tell you about. And he was like, wow. He was shocked. He was like, what? And I was like, yeah. I was like, man, I'm sorry. I just, you know, I had to do what was right for me. And I, you know, I have do unto others, you know. And he's like, you know what he said to me? He's like, I really appreciate you telling me the truth, but I have to dismiss you as my patient. And I said, I understand. I get it. I signed a contract when I went there. Now, I'm not saying now here we go. Here's the disclaimer. If you haven't signed some contract and you haven't, like, you know, everyone's like, I can run to their doctor. Hey, man, I gave my friend a pill. Oh my God. It's like, don't do that to me. What I'm trying to make a point. I had signed a contract saying I wouldn't do certain things. So I violated that. So I felt that I should be honest about it. Okay. So now we've had that. I'm going to pause this video. I'm going to go over there and I'm going to pray, and I'm going to go, okay. And then I'm going to show you the xenomorph invasion that's coming. All serious, totally serious right now. I'm going to show you the invasion from the pit is coming now. It's coming. It's coming. It's imminent. I'll just leave it at that. Okay, so I'm going to pause this and we're going to get to it. All right, here we go, guys. Okay, so now you got your AAD turned on. So for me, I mean, keeping a clear conscience before the Lord is everything. So if you're going to communicate with the Spirit of all truth, you should be speaking truth. You should be living truth. You should be doing truth. If you're trying to conceal things, then you are slipping off the road onto the side of the road. And with what I'm about to show you and with what I'm about to tell you is about to happen, and when I say, again, with what is imminently coming, I guarantee you my ministry is obvious what it's all about. Before the fire, there's a fire coming, and there's also the plagues of Revelation coming. Now, I let you hear Max McLean read Revelation 9. They had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name is Apollyon. Now, who has a king over them? They had tails like unto scorpions. That's who they are. They had a king over them. Who? You know, the ones that have tails like scorpions that are coming out of the pit, because just like the trailer, let's watch it again now. Now you remember the Adidas original commercial, remember? That right there, what you're looking at, is right out of the book of Jude, everlasting chains of darkness forward and backwards ligaments of the body. And they know it. The enemy knows if you're in a host body, you're being murdered. The host body is a murdering system. It's a system that is all murder. That's why there's a band called Thy Art is Murder, and they have a wolf nursing a little sheep, because we're those little sheep and we're born into their families. And the way they murder us is, you know, like that song, Killing Me Softly with his song. Yeah, just like that. That's the birth of Venus right there. That's what they're imitating. So I'm just gonna pause out. We don't need to watch the whole Adidas original commercial, but the Adidas original commercial represents the race of beings, the upside down demonic race that is attached to the pit, that's side by side in a host body with us, God's angels. Angel and a demon inside of a host body being transmuted. Okay, I've shown you the system. I've set up a dry erase board over at my office, and I'm going to start, I'll even start doing some vids if there's any time left, where I literally can draw out the system and show you the whole cycle in the system, how it works. Okay, here we go. Now, let's get to album 5. This is where everybody needs to go. If you have access to the albums, this is album 5. The album 5, it says album 5 movie Insects, and there's all these great links in here, but I'm going to use album 5 to show you and give you a testimony and an order of events which happened recently, in which the Lord had me put a lock on the little church building. It's a sliding glass door, guys. So sliding glass doors don't really, most of them don't come with a key that you can lock the door from the outside and leave it. I didn't want to leave it unlocked, and so I called a company that I knew, because they had changed out the locks on a friend of mine's house, and I knew who they were. So I called them up, and they came over to see if they could maybe order a kit and a cylinder that would go through the handle of the sliding glass door so I could key it. And that's where this all started. So I'm going to start going through that testimony. I'm going to show you, but then I'm going to show you along the way what was happening. And the Lord just kept shoving locusts are coming. And I was just like, there's no way these things could just keep happening. So let me just get to the story, and let's just get to it. Here we go. Be a good place to just kind of pick it up, and I'll remind you of something. Y'all remember Madonna when she came up from the pit at this thing called Quavo, and she sang some weird song, not everyone's going to the future, not everyone that's here is going to last. And before this came out, I was doing a video, and the Lord told me he wanted me to wear camouflage. Y'all may remember the video. I had on a green camouflage shirt, camouflage do-rag probably, and the Lord told me to speak in Spanish and to wear a mask. And I thought, wow, that's really interesting. And it was in order to show you that if you can't see your enemy, you don't understand your enemy's language, then how could you possibly know that you are among them and they are among you? You just, if you can't speak their language and you can't really see them because they're camouflage and they speak a language you don't understand. The answer is you can't. You can't know that they're there. You can't know that they're leading you straight to the pit. So he used that as a way to communicate that message. But he told me, even though I was ready to do the video, I heard the Lord say, now go to Gibson's costume and go get a mask. And I was confused. And the reason I was confused is because I already had a mask. And the Lord said, go to Gibson's costume here in San Antonio. And I thought, this is just so weird. Maybe I've gone off the deep end. And I heard the Lord say, go now. And so I got in the car. I drove to Gibson's costumes, and I went in. And I was thinking, how in the heck am I going to know which mask to pick? There's a whole lot of masks. And so when I went in, I looked and I was overwhelmed. I was like, goodness gracious, look at all these masks. And I literally was overwhelmed. And so, because my nickname in skydiving used to be Wolfman, everyone used to call me Wolfman. I saw a Wolfman mask and I started walking over there like maybe And when I got over there, I heard the Lord say, this mask right here, this thing. And I was like, what the heck? I had no idea this mask actually was had a name. And so if you look at the eyes, it has an X there and an X there, an X on both eyes. That represents the system that's controlled us and kept us in slavery, 2X. I didn't know that then, but I did what the Lord said. I bought the mask. And when I went to buy the mask, the Lord told me, you have to look at the price of the mask. And he told me the change you'll receive is very important. I just thought that was the weirdest thing in the world. I'll just be honest with you. I was like, what the hell? I was like, what? A receipt? A receipt for paying for that mask is going to be important. Okay, just be honest. That's really weird. And I just thought, okay, maybe I've lost my mind. And maybe this is where I just like cracked or something. So I took the mask up to buy it. And when the lady told me it was $75.76, I was like, I was just like, what? And yeah, $75.76, I believe. And so I reached in to get my wallet and I was going to pay with a card. And I went, oh, wow. I had a $100 bill. And I was like, oh, wow. And I just gave her the $100 bill. And I was really kind of glad. I was just like, oh, you're. And so she gave me change for it. And at that point, after I got the change and got the receipt, that's when the Lord said, the receipt is very important. He told me after I paid for it, the amount you paid and the change is very important. Do y'all believe me? Do y'all believe that? I'm going to be honest. If I was y'all, I'd be like, really? Yeah, because that's exactly how I was. So I went out and I got in my truck and I sat there in front of Gibson's Costumes and I was like, this is so bizarre, man. And I got on the phone and I called Kat and I said, Kat, this is so weird. This is what the Lord told me, and I don't know what to make of it. I said, could you look up 75, 76? And then Kat looks it up and so here it is right here. And so Kat looks it up, and this is before I saw before the Madonna Quavo thing, and it means to bind together in chains. They were bound in fetters. They were bound in shackles. So a mask that has 2 X's on the eye, an X on each eye, the cost of that mask was $75.76, and it means to bind. And I heard in my spirit, you are bound to this creature. You're bound to this 2X thing. And I was like, that's just crazy. And then I told Kat, I said, Kat, the Lord's saying like the change is totally, totally important. So I'm going to do a quick witness thing because I think it's important. I'm going to drop in on Corey. So because Corey will be a witness to what happened. Oh, by the way, I just texted Corey and said, can you give me a ring real quick? Now, let me tell you something. The reason I'm doing this, the reason I'm bothering to call Corey is to help y'all believe, not me. I already know what's coming. I'm on the front lines. I'm already a sky surfer. I'm already the conduit for the Lord's information. The Vatican's a snake. Largest altar in the world is dead sheep. When people wink their eye and stick out their tongue at you, they're connected to the angel of the bottomless pit, and they're mocking you, and the angel of the bottomless pit's looking right at you through their eye. I already know all this stuff. I'm doing this for your benefit. I don't need to hear Corey, tell me a testimony about what happened. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna hopefully he'll call, and I'm gonna go ahead and give you this testimony. So see, I just sent Corey a text. Hey, can you give me a ring real quick, Corey? So anyway, so I call. Well, I was sitting there on the phone with Kat, and I said, Kat, this is so bizarre. Why would the change on a receipt for a mask be so important? And she said, well, what was it? I said, well, it was 2424, and all of a sudden it got silent. You know what? I'm going to call Kat because Kat's there. Watch this. I'm calling Kat right now. I'm calling Kat. And I'll use her as a witness. Maybe not. Come on, Cat. Get the phone. So I got Cat on the phone. Cat, you there?
Hi.
Okay, there she is. So there's Cat. Okay, so Cat, I'm telling everybody the story just really quick because I'm got to give them this testimony, but I want them to understand that the testimony from Corey and that mask is important in them understanding that that actually happened, because that's the way the Lord got me to do this latest thing. So it is true or not true. I called you up one day after going to Gibson's costume, and I was sitting in the parking lot, and I was kind of beside myself because the Lord told me I had to buy this mask, and that the cost of the mask was important, but the change was even more important. Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Oh, yes. Yes. Do you want me to tell the story behind it? It was $24.24 from $100.
Yeah, okay. Well, tell them what happened earlier that day before I called you, and I had no idea. Just tell them what happened.
Okay, so Corey said he told me that was in the same house as him had changed the security code to the house, and he said that used to always be his number for years. And he said, why? What
used to be his number? So
2424.
Okay, and now everyone's like, oh, Kleck, how dare you tell him everybody is code? He doesn't care, guys. I've already talked to him. I mean, right. So anyway, so Corey's code to his house he's used for years and years is what?
2424.
Okay, so you and Corey had talked earlier that day, and his ex had changed the code from 2424 to something else, and he had called you up. Is that correct?
Well, the code was changed. She changed it to 2424 because he got locked out. And he's like, what's up? What'd you do with the code? She goes, oh, I changed it. And she changed it to 2424. And so he was like, why? Why today of all days? He said that used to be my old number that I used to use on everything.
So she had changed the code. She had changed the code to 2424 or from 24.
Yes.
Oh, so she changed it to 2424.
Yes.
Okay, so you and Corey. So Corey would call you, and what was he saying to you?
He was just saying, Kat, why today of all days? Why would she do it today?
Like, why would she change the code today? Why today? Does that sound right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then I'm calling you sitting in a parking lot outside of a costume shop, and I'm calling you like, what the hell's going on, man? I just went in a costume shop, and the Lord told me to buy this really creepy-ass mask, and he told me the cost of the mask was really significant, and he told me the change was even more significant. Is that true or not true?
That is true.
Okay, so I sent you a picture of the mask, correct?
Yes.
And then I said, could you please look up the number in the Bible, 7576 or whatever, 74. Let me see what the number was. The number was $75.74 or 75, yeah, 7574.
76.
Okay, yeah, so hang on, 7576, yeah. So I said, would you please look up in the Bible the meaning of 7576? Is that true or not true?
You did ask me, yes.
And you looked it up, and you were like, oh, wow, it means to bind, bound with chains, correct?
Yes.
And I was like, what the hell? That's crazy. And I was like, well, it's got like an X on each eye, and the Lord's saying that's what you're bound to. And is that what I was telling you?
Yes.
And so then I was kind of like freaked out, right? And then I was like, what the hell, dude? What is this all about? And because I was getting ready to do this camouflage video for everybody, but instead of using the mask I had, the Lord told me to go get some other mask. And I was like, that's really weird, right?
Right.
And so I was kind of freaked out, right? Okay, and then I said, and Kat, then the Lord told me that the change is even more significant than the cost of the mask. I said, and it was $24.24. And then it just got kind of like silent on the phone. And I was like, Kat, and then what did you say?
Oh, yeah, I remember that day very well. I said, oh, my goodness. Have you talked to Corey today?
And
Because
yeah,
he's got an awesome testimony.
yeah. So then you're asking me, have you talked to Corey today? And I'm like, no. And I really didn't talk to Corey that much back then. Occasionally I would talk to him, but you said, have you talked to Corey today? And I was like, no. And you're like, oh my gosh. And that's when you told me that Corey and you had talked, and he was telling you why today, Kat, why today is the lock, 24. So the lock to get in the house is 24. And what's 24 in the Bible? Jesus. Jesus.
Right.
Jesus
the
Christ.
door.
So to get in the door and to get away from this mask thing that's got you bound, 24. Is that? And you and I just freaked out. Is that right?
Yes. That's perfect. Yes.
Okay, so now I'm getting ready to give everybody this testimony because I'm letting them know the locusts are coming. And so I told them I need you guys to at least hear this testimony, because then Madonna came up from the pit in her little video, and she was wearing an X on her chest and an X on her eye, and on her little robe thing, she has an insect hatching like this mask. And I was like, what the hell? Yes or no?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Okay, so, but the other day I told you, I said, Kat, I called a company to come change the door to come put a lock on the little church building out back. And the Lord told me that I had to look at the receipt. It was very important, like when Corey, when I bought the mask and you and Corey were involved. Is that true?
Yes.
All right. So,
Yes.
is there anything else you want to tell everybody before I launch into all this stuff? How many crazy supernatural miracles have you seen in the past 48 hours?
Jonathan, I can't keep track anymore. It's just nonstop. It's amazing.
What would you say the message?
It's amazing, mind-blowing.
What do you?
The locusts are coming. We're leaving. Get ready, everyone.
To get everyone ready, because the locusts are coming and it's time to get ready. Correct?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so thank you. I tried to get a hold of Corey, but I can't get him on the phone. I can't get him to respond. Anyway, so thanks for doing that.
You're welcome, Brother Jay.
All right, cool. All right, bye-bye.
All right, take care.
All right. Okay, so now, anyway, so here's the thing, guys. So I'm going to give you these testimonies now that I'm just going to be honest. If I was somebody else and I was listening to me, if I was you and I was listening to me, I would want to see some data. I'd want to see some proof. I'd say, okay, show me what you got. I'm going to show you all that. I'm going to explain it to you. I'm going to show you how it happened. I'm going to show you how these things rolled out and how the Lord communicated to me that the locusts are coming. Okay, let's start with this. Let's start with, okay, the first thing that the Lord told me to do is get a key and to put a key on the little building that's the church, that represents the church, because the church is supposed to leave before all the horror begins. Okay, it's called pre-wrath. All you pre-tribulation, all you indoctrinated people that think you know what's going on with pre-trib, post-trib, you know nothing. If you don't understand that the church, the new temple, is us. We are the new temple. We are the temple of the Holy Spirit. We've been converted, and the Lord God dwells in us, and He's going to grab the church and leave. It's all those who are ready and that have been converted and are waiting for Him. That's the church. Okay, and it's called pre-wrath. It's called the bride of Christ. It's in Revelation 3. Because you've kept the word of my patience, I will keep you from the hour of testing, which is the great tribulation, which shall come upon all those that dwell upon the earth. And then it says, and I will give you the name of my God and the city of my God, which is New Jerusalem, which cometh down out of heaven. Revelation 21, and I, John, saw the New Jerusalem coming down out of heaven, adorned as a bride. The bride gets picked up and taken away. All hell breaks loose, and the bride of Christ is returned to a fully restored earth. It's right there in Revelation 3 and Revelation 21. Anyone that thinks you know, oh, it's pre-trib, post-trib, you know nothing. You know nothing. It's pre-wrath. It's the bride of Christ. The bride of Christ leaves. I'm being direct. I'm sorry. This is not this is what I think. No, this was delivered. This was delivered by the Lord God himself. So I'm going to give you so much proof and data that you're welcome to do whatever you want with it. Again, I love you in Christ. I'm delivering a message. I'm not here to debate your theology. I'm here to just deliver a message. Okay, here we go. So I called this company called Priest Lock and Key because they had replaced a lock on a friend of mine's house named Randy. So that's the last key company I dealt with. So I called these guys up. Let me show you the Vatican real quick. Okay, here is St. Peter's Basilica. It's a keyhole. It's a circle with an apron and an upside down cross. That's what the Lord God used the guy that's talking to you to resolve the greatest mystery that's been solved here on this earth, the understanding of the entire system, the host body system. We're angels. We got caught in a host body system, angel and a demon. We're put in a transmutation device called a host body. We're transmuted to food, and we become a locust from the pit if we don't get converted before we die. All there is to it. And I can show it to you all day long now. Now, here you go. This is the company I called Priest Lock and Key. I think it's fascinating. Take a look at it. So Priest Lock and Key came over, and I thought, wow, would you look at that? Look at the keyhole. That is just very unusual. I've never seen a lock and key company that has an old-timey lock on it that looks identical to the Vatican, and it shows that it's unlocked. And that's who came over to to try and put a key in the sliding glass door. Now, let me, again, be very, very frank. Guys, I work in construction. If you don't have a door that was bought that had a key that went to a sliding glass door, good luck. You'll have to buy a kit from the manufacturer, and they'll have to send you the kit and install it if they have one. So I was just hoping. Then I called him. I said, would you come over and take a look at this lock and see what you can do? Maybe you can order a kit. And the guy goes, yeah, let me come over and have a look. So this kid shows up, and he comes over, and he looks at it, and there was a little pop out on the outside handle. There was a little hole, and I told him, I think that's a little pop out. And he goes, yeah, I think so. So we took the whole handle off. We inspected the handle, and he said, you know what? I think I can probably retrofit this. I may have a barrel, like a barrel is a cylinder. He goes, I may have a barrel that might work on this, but I may have to drill it out a little bit. And I went, okay, I'm cool with that. He said, yeah, worst case scenario, I'll order you a kit, and we can get a kit because of the door manufacturer. He said, yeah, we can order a kit probably if we really mess this up. And I was like, all right, let's do it. So we have the handle apart. We knock out the little hole. He looks at it. He goes back and forth to his van, I don't know, 5-6 times. He comes back with the little barrel. He's like, look, I think I found a barrel that'll work. And I was like, oh, cool. Check it out. I was like, wow, pretty cool. I mean, to fit the exact distance from the outside handle through the door to the inside handle, and how, where you turn the lock on the inside, but you key it on the outside, that exact distance for a barrel for a sliding glass door? Are you kidding? I was like, really? You got some that might, he's like, yeah, I think so. So he kept going back and forth, and he comes, and he's like, yeah, I think I got it. We're going to have to drill it out a little bit. I was like, that's cool, dude. Let's do it. So he gets his drill out and he starts drilling, barely, and he's playing with that barrel. He's like, little more. He's playing with it, and he's like, and he pops it in. And he goes, hey, I got it. And I was like, cool. I was like, that's awesome, dude. He's like, yeah, man. And so he used some part that he had to some other lock, and he just said, I'll just retrofit it. So he got a barrel in there. He did it. And then he gave me a key, and I want to show you this. Look what's on the key. Have you ever seen something like that? I've seen slodge, I've seen quickset, but this is actually the name, priest, lock, and key. And it's got a little lock with a keyhole, just like the Vatican. I thought that is so bizarro. And so the kid's sitting right there in his van right there, and we've got it all done, and I'm just really grateful he was able to do it. And I was like, wow, that's awesome, dude. Thank you. Here's a $10 tip, man. Thanks so much. That's awesome. And he goes, yeah, do you want a receipt? And I went, not really. And he went, okay. And then all of a sudden I heard the Lord say, get a receipt. And so it was a little awkward. I went, you know what? Can I get a receipt anyway? He's like, yeah, no problem. And so he writes out the receipt. I don't know why. He hands me this receipt, $139.32, and so I put it in my car. I drove around for a day or two, and here's the other key. He gave me two, and then I got out of my car the next day, and I heard the Lord tell me, look up the number on the receipt, the same as Corey, and as like the mask. That's why I told you the mask story, because dude, let me tell you something. The mask story is like, what? To me, it's like, what are you kidding? Look up the receipt on a mask. Do you know what the name of that mask is? You know what the name of that thing is? Someone found out for me. I think it was Kat. Kat went and looked it up. That mask is called Sam Unmasked. Do you know what Sam means, short for Samuel? Heard of God. Oh, because the other sound, you're hearing one ear one way and one ear the other way. One eye one way, one eye the other way. Cleanse your hearts, you double-minded. That's why I gave you a little speech before we started this whole thing. You going to be single-minded and tell the truth about everything, or are you going to be double-minded? You're willing to risk not turning on your AAD? Because we're doing Halo, guys. We're not doing a little jump. We're doing the jump of all jumps that's coming. We're stepping out of the plane of all planes. We're stepping off the edge of the cliff to eternity. That's what's coming. And you're going to have to stand in the face of it. It's not going to be some little thing. Just watch. So anyway, I see this receipt. I'm like, I hear the Lord say, look up the receipt. And I was like, look up the receipt, 139 and 32. And I said, okay. I looked up 32, and it means main angel messenger. Well, who do you know that said he's an angel and that he was awakened in a host body to solve the riddle of ages for you? Do y'all know anybody? Yeah. Oh, Kleck's false prophet. No, you're fodder for a race of locusts, or you are one. So, you see that right there? The Lord God used the guy you're talking to solve the riddle of all this, and to solve that this thing's really a serpent. The mouth of the serpent is a vagina, and that was the interdimensional way they got out of the pit. That's the way the serpent got out of the pit and started feeding on all God's angels, because they were willing to take on host bodies. Now, here's the number 139. The Lord said, look it up. I'm sorry, here we go, 139. Lord said, look it up. The Lord of righteousness. The Lord of righteousness. The one that opened the lock for us. The one that opened the door for all of us is the Lord of righteousness. He opened the door. And I just went, that is so bizarre. That is so strange. Oh, by the way, here's a really good example of Here's what you thought you were getting right here. Here's what you were really getting. See, here's Jack Nicholson in a movie called The Shining, thinking he's kissing some hot smoking babe, and he's really making out with death, and it's a witch. And there it is. That's the witch that the witch that cast the spell and put the curse on the whole world. And here's your 2X female chromosome. And that's what's been running us right there. That's what's been running the show. And what unlocked it? The Lord of Righteousness unlocked it. And I thought, wow, that is absolutely crazy that would be there. And the Lord told me, I want you to go get a crown, and I want you to have it cut out of stainless steel and put it in the building. I'll get to that in a minute. Do y'all remember the video I just did the other day? I did a video the last video I did about Brandon's dad. In the video, I mentioned these scriptures. I mentioned Nahum. There shall be a fire devour thee. The sword shall cut thee off. It shall eat thee up like the cankerworm. Make thyself as many as the cankerworm. Make thyself as many as the locust. Thou hast multiplied thy merchants. Remember merchants? Spice traders. Go watch the Spice Girls. The two become one. Thou hast multiplied thy merchants above the stars, the princes of heaven. The cankerworm spoileth. So the cankerworm spoileth, stripped naked the princes of heaven, and flieth away, coming out of the pit. That's what that is. And the Lord showed it to me. And I showed it to you in the last video. And guess what? After I did that last video, I was in a state of shock that there's the proof in the scriptures that the princes of El were used as food for cankerworms in the pit that will get their wings and come out and be the locusts that take over this planet. Well, when I say take over this planet, what I mean is they'll have their day. That's the first woe. They will come out. They will sting men, and I'm bearing witness to it right now. So stay with me. Now listen. Right after I did that last video and I put that lock in, I had a computer over there and I had like 20 windows open. And so I came home and I was like, I got to shut some of these windows down because it's just going to burn up my computer. So I went over there and I started closing out windows. And everyone's telling me about all these locusts that are just eating Africa. They moved into the Middle East, Iran, Iraq, Syria. We have locusts and they're moving towards China. And everyone's been telling me, Kleck, you got to talk about the locusts. Kleck, you got to talk about all these locusts. And I'm like, yeah. I got plenty on my plate right now. And so while I was closing out some of those 20 windows, I had maybe 5 or 6 YouTube windows open. I just went to one of them like this, and I was going to close it out. I wanted to see what it was. And over here in the thumbnails right here, it said Africa having like East Africa locust invasion. And so I thought, you know what? Everyone's telling me to watch some of these locust videos. I haven't watched any of them. I might as well watch one. I'm going to show you the one that popped up. Here you go. Let me show you. Okay, so this is the video that I clicked on while I'm closing out 20 windows over on that other computer because I was trying to organize a desktop and I thought, I got to close some of these out. I saw East Africa. East Africa is being destroyed by a huge swarm of locusts. So many people had tried to get me to watch them. I thought, I better watch a few of these. So I clicked on this one. Let's play it.
What the cutting locust left, the swarming locust has eaten. What the swarming locust left, the hopping locust has eaten. And what the hopping locust left, the destroying locust has eaten. It is now time for people to repent. This is not normal.
Okay, now imagine you're me. Imagine you're me. You just put a lock over on the little church building that some priest, lock and key priest. Now don't forget, those of us we're priests forever in the line of Melchizedek, right? We will be priests forever in the line of Melchizedek. And I thought, wow, that's kind of weird, priest, lock and key. Then I thought it was even weirder that it had the same exact lock keyhole as the Vatican. and the lock was open. Then I thought it was even weirder that the guy was going to come back and retrofit it and was able to do it. And then he hands me a key that's got the same little keyhole as the Vatican on it, and I've got the key to it. What's really weird is the keys don't even look like normal keys. They don't look like they're brass. They look like they're made of gold. I was like, weird. Even the color of the key looks like gold. Oh, the Bible says, I will give you the keys to the kingdom of heaven. And I'm just sitting there trying to process how weird it is that I've got some guy that retrofitted that and his van matches the keyhole at the Vatican. Now I'm holding a gold key that's got the keyhole at the Vatican and it shows the lock unlocked. And then I've got a key to the church building, because all of us that are the church, by the way, the word church means those that are called out. That's what the word church means. So I'm sitting there trying to process. This is crazy. And then the Lord tells me, look up the number on the receipt. It's really important. I'm like, and then I hear the Lord tell me, it's just like Corey and the mask, remember? Heard of what Sam Unmasked? 75, 76 to bind in shackles, and then 24, 24 Jesus. So Jesus is what got you unbound to that thing that bound you in shackles. I'm just trying to process all this stuff, going like, what? You couldn't even think this up. And I was just like, this is so bizarro. And so then I look up 139 and the Lord of Righteousness and Messenger Angel. I'm like, that is insane. Okay, well, just to make things more insane, shortly after that, I come home to close out these windows, and I look up there, and I was like, I'll close out these, and I see East Africa is being destroyed by huge swarm locusts. In the very last video I just did, let me show you a thumbnail. Let me show you a thumbnail that's in album 5. This is album 5. Let's see. This is album 5. Right here. You'll see it. This is album 5 that I used in the last video. I'll scroll way down here and I'll show you a picture that's been in album 5 since I did the video with Brandon's dad. Let's see. This was actually in the video with Brandon's dad. I brought this up on the screen right here. Sent as judgment right here. So this was one of the pictures I used in the last video. Sent as judgment. Let me just get this ready for you. So you guys, let's get rid of that. Let's see what this is. Let's go back to the beginning of this. And then I want you to wrap your brain around this. Pretend you're me. Just pretend you're Jonathan. So you just did a video where it says, that which the palmer worm hath left, the locust hath eaten. That which the locust hath left, the cankerworm hath eaten. And that which the cankerworm hath left, hath the caterpillar eaten. So that was used, and then I used Nahum right here. And then I also used Jeremiah. Ezekiel 28 to show you that Lucifer said, I will rise above the stars of El. And right here it says, thou hast multiplied the merchants, spice merchants, like the Spice Girls. That's why they're called the Spice Girls. Thou hast multiplied thy merchants above the stars, the princes of heaven. And the cankerworm spoileth, stripped naked, and then flieth away. Stripped naked who? The princes of heaven. The cankerworm stripped naked the princes of heaven and flieth away, is going to come out of the pit as locusts. And I was like, goodness gracious. Let me show you that video again. Read this yourself. That which the palmer worm hath left, hath the locust eaten. And that which the locust hath left, the cankerworm hath eaten. And that which the cankerworm hath left, the caterpillar eaten. Listen to what this guy says, please.
What the cutting locust left, the swarming locust has eaten. What the swarming locust left, the hopping locust has eaten. And what the hopping locust left, the destroying locust has eaten. It is now time for people to repent. This is not normal.
It is now time for people to repent. Why do you think I'm having this little discussion?
Now time for people to repent.
Let me ask you a question. Why do you think I'm so just open, like I'm an open book? I'll tell you about my personal life. I'll tell you about what I deal with and what I go through and what I talk to the Lord about. I'll talk to you about medication. I'll talk to you about things other people won't even talk to you about, won't even mention because, oh, I can't talk about it. They're a bunch of phonies. These are real things that real people deal with. And real people live in pain. Real people live with desires. Real people live with certain things. And there's nobody that's really willing to sit there and throw themselves under the bus for everybody, but I am. I'll do it. Because I know that I'm no better than anyone, and I know no one's any better than me either. But only by the grace of God do any of us get out of this fix that we were in. By the grace of God do we get out of this and get turned to this. So, after I do the video and I showed y'all Joel and I showed you Nahum, can you imagine the only video I clicked on for locusts was this one? And the very first words I heard were the same thing as the day before in the video I did. Can you imagine that? Here, listen.
What the cutting locust left, the swarming locust has eaten. What the swarming locust left, the hopping locust has eaten. And what the hopping locust left, the destroying locust has eaten. It is now time for people to repent. This is not normal.
Okay, so now I'm going to take it up a notch. And when that happened, I was just like, goodness gracious, what the heck? That's crazy. But it gets better. So my friend Kat, she takes a little bit of lisinopril blood pressure medicine, and she's having some side effects. And I said, you know, maybe you could just do a little diet and exercise and lower it. She's done it before. And so she said, you know, I'm going to do that. And she used to go to the track and walk she has a track she likes to go to. And so we were talking about that. And I said, you'd probably be better off, you know, just trying a little less blood pressure med. She's on a pretty low dose anyway. And I was encouraging her to go back to what she used to do because she used to have her blood pressure totally under control. I said, you know, just wean off again and go back to the track. Ask me how many times she's shown me a picture of the track. 0. One time she sent me a picture of some butterflies that I think a butterfly that kept following her. And but she's never just sent me a picture of the track. Well, Eric and Susie Harless, my friends that are in Louisiana, the other day Eric sent me a trailer for a movie I just played at the beginning of this little presentation. It's called The Mist. Let's watch it again. Let's watch that one more time. Watch. It'll be fun. Here we go. It's only 2 minutes and 58 seconds long. Let's watch it.
Now listen, everybody. We are experiencing some kind of disaster.
No, it's the end of days. Oh my God.
Something in the mist! Shut the doors! Shut the doors!
I don't know whether it's man-made or natural, but I do know that it's definitely not supernatural.
Nobody else heard that sound? What sound? I don't know. Like something was like pressing against the door.
But the only way we're going to help ourselves is to seek rescue. We're going out.
Tie this around your waist.
What for?
It'll let us know you got at least 300 feet.
There's nothing out there. Nothing in the mist.
What if you're wrong?
Then I guess the joke would be on me.
It is time to take sides. The saved and the damned. Read the good book. It calls for blood.
Think something got in? Guys, I hear something.
Don't you know the truth? We are being punished.
You try it. We have to get out of here.
Who knows how far this mist has spread?
It could be the whole world for all we know. Wouldn't make us any less dead.
Daddy, don't go. If something happens, cut and run. You can't go out. I won't allow it. Won't allow it.
It was them who brought down the final wrath upon us.
We want the boy.
That's what brought down the wrath of God.
How do you want the monsters get me?
Are those bugs?
Not like any I've ever seen.
There came out of the smoke locusts upon the earth.
I'm going to pause it right there because you see right here on the window right here where it says new N-E-W. If you turn it upside down and backwards, it says men, new men, because they've converted those men into these things, new men. Let me show you one way I know that because that's part of my spiritual gifting. Let me show you something real quick. So you see the word new? Let me show you something. Hang on one sec. Sorry guys, I had a little bit of a glitch. There you go. You see the word new? It's the only word with all those little lines around it. It's not stretching. Okay. So you see right here, N-E-W, you turn it upside down, it's M-E-N. See all the little lines around it? Oh, wow. Let me show you something in folder number 5. Okay, now, again, imagine you're me. You're the guy that before he got saved did his artwork and his medium was light. And in the room right over there, you did the Garden of Eden with angels coming down having sex with human women, the bait. And there's these naked women that are carved in metal and coming out of a dimension are a bunch of locusts. And imagine you're the guy that did that. I'm the guy that did that. That's what's in that room. I'll show you the pictures in a sec. So my artwork before I got saved shows a bunch of angels coming from heaven, landing, having sex in the garden, Adam having sex in the garden. And there's these carved naked women, and there's plasma cuts and coming out. There's light coming out, and there's all these locusts coming out of the pit. I did that before I got saved. Wow, you want to hear something really crazy? Did you know that building out there, that's the little church building the Lord told me to build? Did you know it's 76 inches wide by 200 inches, which I had no idea. The Lord, I was having to measure to do flames on the floor because there's a set of twins on the floor made out of metal that I grinded, Cain and Abel, right side up, upside down. And the flames are really sperm that are fertilizing the eggs. They're both. It's a flame and sperm. So I had to measure from the edge of the circle to the wall so I knew how much metal to cut for the length of those flames, aka sperm. And I heard the Lord say, pay very close attention to the length of that measuring tape. And I was like, it's 76. And I heard the Lord say, look up 76 in the Bible. Let me show you 76 in the Bible real quick. 1 Corinthians 15:45. And I haven't even done it in this Bible yet. And so it is written, the first man, Adam, was made a living soul. Well, we know that in Genesis 2, when the Lord God formed man, but this is Adam, the first man of Jesus. That was the big mystery right there. The first man of Jesus, and its Hebrew word 121, which you don't even see until Genesis 2. And that's when the Lord God breathes into his man a living soul. The first man, Adam, as Christ's representative, became a living soul. And so the building outside is 76 inches, Adam as Christ's representative. And then the length of the building, the Lord told me to look it up, and I was in the car with Kat, and I was like, Kat, the Lord's telling me to go measure the length of the building. It's super important. And it is precisely 200 inches. And the Lord said, look it up. It just happens to be locusts. You know, like locusts from the pit, which tells like scorpions. You know, like all the pictures of girls I have that have mandibles on their vaginas, and they have big, you know, bugs coming out of them, and all these tattoos of bugs and mandibles and locusts and cicadas, and weird. But that building out there, the church, is 76 inches, Adam is Christ's representative, by 200. Wow, that's identical to my artwork in the other room before I got saved. Adam to locust. Church, Adam to locust. Did you know that there's a bell out there that Jack Lamb sent me? And that I got 2 bells sent to me, both sent by someone named Lamb. Both of them from someone named Lamb. I wonder what the odds are of that. And the one that the Lord told me to hang up there was because it had a saddle, and it says 17, independent 76. 17 means that which is inherently good, and 76 means Adam is Christ's representative. So I'm going to ring a bell on a little church building, and the significance of it is that which is inherently good, Adam, and I'm ringing the bell, and it has Christ turning into a bunch of doves leaving because his spirit's about to be withdrawn from the earth. Why? Because when the locusts come out of the pit, that spirit leaves. And guess what? All hell breaks loose on this earth. And guess what? It's imminent. That's why I'm doing this vid. And I've been stressing out of my mind going, good God, this is all real. So anyway, so let's get back to this. So see, Adam, the first man, Adam, from Hebrew 1:21, Adam, the first man of Jesus, at man as his representative, as Jesus's representative, right there. There you go. Now, watch this. Okay, so now, here we go. Okay, so remember right here in this video, they're like, what kind of bugs are those? See, it says right here, it says new. Turn it upside down, men. Well, that's weird because you know what? When you take a man in a slave collar from the Vatican and you turn him upside down, he becomes a new man, but he's a locust from the pit. Let me show that to you. Let me show that. So see, it says new, flip it upside down, men. These are the new men, locusts from the pit. Let me prove that to you real quick. Okay, let me show you album 5. Y'all remember this? Remember? N-E-W, new. You just turn that N-E-W upside down. What does it say? Man. Wow, that's weird. In a movie with Locust Hall, you take the N-E-W and you turn it upside down and it's men, new men. Let me show you a few tattoos you might find interesting. This is called the death moth right here. It was in Silence of the Lambs because some guy named Buffalo Bob wanted to become a girl, and so he was kidnapping girls and he was cutting off parts of their skin so he could make a suit out of female skin so he could get in it. So he could transform himself from Buffalo Bob to some chick where he cut off the skins off all these girls. Silence of the Lambs. And it was a representation of, he had all these death moths, and that's how Hannibal Lecter found him, because the moth itself represented the transformation from male to female. Here's a girl with a really nifty tattoo on her back. I think you might like it. So that's what's really inside. That's the spirit that's really inside of her, and that's what's coming. And that's why this movie by Stephen King says new. Like, you know, new right here, because that's what the new men are. And let me prove that to you. Because just like in the Vatican, when you take a man in a slave collar right here, See, there's the man in the slave collar, and what happens when you turn him upside down? He becomes a new man. What's the new man? A locust from the pit. You see where I'm going, how perfect all this data is? You see how the revelation of the data and the timing of the revelation and the moment that the Lord gives me the information, and that which the locust has eaten. What's the Lord trying to tell us?
What the cutting locust left, the swarming locust has eaten. What the swarming locust left, the hopping locust has eaten. And what the hopping locust left, the destroying locust has eaten. It is now time for people to repent. This is not normal.
That's what the Lord is trying to tell us, and he's trying to have me tell you that now is the time for you to repent, because just like I've been showing you all these years, the largest church in the world is really a snake. The mouth of the snake is really a vagina. And a human in a slave collar turns into a new man, a locust from the pit, because the pit's going to come open up, and all the men since the beginning of the world till the end, which is very shortly, are going to come out of that pit as something totally different, and you're going to have to stand in the face of it. That would be a really good time to make sure you have your AAD on, which is the Holy Spirit and a clear conscience. And you want your conscience clear for this, because you know what? I don't think it's worth rolling the dice. Do you? I mean, I used to sky surf and turn my AAD off sometimes. I would disconnect what's called my RSL. There's this little thing right here. You see that little tab? That's called your RSL, reserve static line. I would disconnect that when I was sky surfing, because, you know, if you get a bad opening, you can have a bunch of canopy that looks like a bowl of spaghetti above your head. And if you chop your main and you're all out of control and your main doesn't get away fast enough, your reserve will blow into your main, and then you got a bigger bowl of spaghetti you get to ride to the ground, and it's not going to slow you down enough to save you at all. Slow you down enough so you'll probably feel the pain a lot worse. So I'm just saying, it's really good to have your AAD on and be stable when you're skydiving. You know, I mean, just for safety reasons. You guys following me? They're like, Johnny, I'm not sure I'm following this AAD. Let me spell it out for you. You do not want any unconfessed sin in your way for what's coming. The greatest horror the world's ever seen. Have you ever seen a xenomorph invasion before? Ever? Ever? I haven't. I've seen it in all the imagery the Lord's shown me. The largest altar in the world is really a big bug harvesting semen. Oh, that's what this is all about. Yep. That's what the entire world's been about. That's what the Statue of Liberty is all about. The liberty, come on, get a hose body, have sex, it'll be great. Don't worry, you'll be a locust when you die and you don't get converted, and your final judgment will be carried out. Is this starting to make all kinds of sense now? Oh, just wait, it'll make more sense. I'm serious. It's like this. So this is how the Lord's using me to tell you what to do. Repent, tell the truth no matter what, because this is you. This represents you. Now, if you get converted, that dual system, you have a Bluetooth line all the way to the pit. Picture a little wasp nest cell in the pit. You got your own evil doppelganger, goes straight to there, and it's run by the angel of the bottomless pit, which runs every one of them. And there's a little Bluetooth line that follows you everywhere you go, and that's the record kept against you. And the only way is you got to see the truth. You got to acknowledge the truth, and you'll know the truth, and the truth will set you free. Eleuthero. Isn't it wild? My girlfriend, who was extremely attractive and, you know, lots of fun just to monkey around with, and I say that in kind of a fornicative way, her name was Eleuthera, which means licentious freedom. Don't you think that's weird? It's like, is this starting to add up, guys? Yeah. So anyway, so let me give you a really good example. Look, let me show you this one. I'm going to rotate this one 90 degree clockwise. Watch this. here's this girl coming out of, let's see, where'd she go? The water. There you go. See, this is a magazine called Summit. Do you see what's going on? See X? X, see the 2X? And look, she's coming out of the water. See the reflection? Oh, wow. See, that's what God's angels thought they wanted. But they're really just being hunted by a system that's the 2X system, which is the female sex chromosome. And that's why even in Michelangelo's suit of armor over at the Medici castle or the Medici cathedral, there's a worm coming out of a human host body, because the human host body is nothing more than a place to hatch a cankerworm from the pit. Welcome to the nightmare. Yep, there it is. And the scriptures support it completely, by the way. Thou dost dwell among scorpions. I am against you women. You hunt the souls of men to make your pillows fly. You know, like a little pillow, like a wasp nest has all the little pillows all over it, because your Bluetooth line goes straight to one. And there's one growing just waiting for you to die. And then you go in there and you're the final snack. And then when the pit opens, guess who comes out? All the cankerworms that got their wings. Nahum 3. Nahum 3, I showed you in the last video. The Lord gave me the scriptures. There you go. See, there's the worm that never dies. It says, if your right hand offend thee, cut it off. It's better to enter the kingdom maimed than to be cast into hell, where the fire is not quenched and the worm never dies. Oh, there you go. Yeah, this is no joke, folks. This is serious stuff, huh? Okay, so now let's take a look at something. Let me just spell some out. Do you see this girl wearing this pair of panties? Is that the female reproductive system, or is it really the face and mouth of a bug? Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Do you see what's going on here? That was the serpent's way to trick out. Why do you think the mouth of this serpent right here looks so much like something I was trying to be around a lot? I mean, there you go. Just take a look at that. Now, I want to be very clear. I have always found the female body to be one of the most amazing, mind-boggling, attractive things ever. That's why I ended up, probably getting in so much trouble. I'm serious. I had lots of girlfriends, lots of pretty girlfriends, went out with lots of pretty girls. By the way, Robin nerd. Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So that's why this mouth right here inside the building is a vagina, because the mouth of the serpent, that was the way into the dimension called the other side, the Sitra Achra. Let me squeeze this down a little bit. Uh-oh. There we go. So there's no denying this, is there? Is this the head of a bug? It's a yes or no. Is this a bug's head? It's a yes or no. Okay, this is an altar in the Vatican. Is it also a bug head? It's a yes or no. If your answer is you're not sure, then I can understand someone saying, well, I'm not sure. Well, let's do a little more study then. Here is a guy that's in a slave collar from the Vatican. There he is. I drew in all those lines for you. And see these very conspicuous little things. I noticed how the forehead and the eyebrows and the one piece and all this stuff, I noticed how armor-like it was, like a plate of armor. Oh, wow, because it's an exoskeleton. Bugs have what are called exoskeletons. And that's why the human host body at the Medici Cathedral has a worm coming out of it, because Michelangelo, who's totally connected to the pit, did a sculpture which represents the truth of the system. The human host body is nothing more than a birthing place for one of those things from the pit, using one of God's angels with a demon the demon's attached to the pit, goes around with you everywhere, record kept against you, and when you die like that and you don't get converted, you go straight to the pit to be food for that one that you're connected to, and you're consumed. And Satan is the king of the scorpions. He's the scorpion king. Now, that's why we have all these nifty things like this. You know, what was that? The Justice League. It says, you know, if that one of them gets touched by one of these things or whatever it is, or bit or whatever it is, I forgot how they do it, but one of these things turns a human from that to that to that to what? A locust from the pit. If you watch the Justice League, you can actually watch it in action. Where do you think they get these ideas for the movies? Now, you ready? Remember, I told you the Lord communicated this message to me in a very unbelievable way. Now, remember, I just showed you this thing. It's called the mist. And after the trailer, I put a little part in here right here where one of these bugs lands on the window, and this guy says, "Is that a bug?"
Those bugs?
No, those are locusts from the pit, and they're going to sting you, and you're going to seek death, and you will not find it. You'll desire to die, but death will flee from you because it's a gestation period.
Not like any I've ever seen. It came out of the smoke, locusts upon the earth.
So here's the girl they make out to be the crazy girl in the movie, and she's quoting Revelation 9. And look how it says, new men. Wow, that's crazy. That's just like the thing I showed you, the new man. But here's what's even crazier. Let me show you a text I got from Kat. Did you know the day that Eric and Susie sent me that trailer, I was like, wow, that's crazy. So I sent it out to Kat and Corey. I'm like, wow, check this out. Look at this with everything else the Lord's showing me, with my artwork, with the length of the build, the length and width of the building, with my artwork, with the Garden of Eden behind me, coming home from Grand Junction, and the Lord having me stop in Eden, Texas, because Siri took me there and told me to look up the population in the Bible and happened to be sanctified or consecrated potter's clay. I was like, what? A lot of people are like, what's he talking about? If you haven't been here, you've really missed out, haven't you? Wow. So, see, Kat sent me this picture the other day, and it said, this is the track. Check out the track this morning. Look, see the track? See that? She actually sent me one at 9:24, or she sent me one earlier in the morning of this. See the track? That's where Kat was going, because we had the little talk about her blood pressure. And the track was filled with mist, and you couldn't even see the cars. And Kat, when she sent it to me, you know what the first thing I thought was? Oh, wow, she saw the trailer I sent her from the mist with all the locusts coming out. So I called her up and I go, oh, wow, did you see the trailer? And she's like, what trailer? I said, you know, the trailer from the movie The Mist. Did you watch it? And she said, what are you talking about? I said, I sent out a trailer to you and a couple other people. It's called The Mist. You haven't watched it yet? And Kat was like, no. And I was like, and you're sending me a picture of the track and it's buried in mist? And she's like, yeah. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you better go watch the trailer. Well, what would the Lord possibly be telling me? Let me show you a picture from the track, and here's a thing from the movie clip, The Mist. So here's the track where Kat was, and this is from the movie The Mist. And she sent me this, and I had sent her this, and she hadn't even seen this when she sent me this. Do you find that odd? Do you find that strange? I was like, what? There's no way. You just sent me the track. You've never sent me a picture of the track, ever. Never. I remember she photographed a butterfly that followed her around one time. I was like, oh, that's kind of cute. That's kind of neat. But to send me a picture of the track in mist on the very day that I have a trailer called The Mist, with some girl quoting Revelation 9 with locusts with tails like scorpions coming out of the mist? You'd have to be a really bad messenger not to be able to get the message from the Lord. It's like, I get it. Read you loud and clear. Oh, that's why the building is 200 inches long, because the Lord made sure it was. That's why the building shows angels falling into a twin system and then being burned up in a twin system like Cain and Abel as a set of twins on the floor, which turns into the sun. And then there's a silhouette of Christ and he's breaking into a bunch of doves leaving. That's why there's a lady named Angela Jolie that wrote a book called Bloodchild, where humans are held hostage on an alien planet and they're used to breed with an insect-like race that takes care of them while using them to breed their young. That's why there's a company called Broken Promises that make t-shirts with a B and a P. One's right side up, one's upside down. And it says on the shirt, words mean nothing and promises are never kept. Because when Lucifer promised a bunch of God's angels, you could have a host body and you would never die and you could have sex and you could be co-creators. You believed him and he lied to you because you do die. That's why there's a girl named Flo and she's works for Progressive, because Progressive is exactly what they're doing. They're progressing their race using the surface and they're taking over all the angels that are in all the host bodies. And that's why they put a little sign in the yard that says protected by Flo, and it says Flotection since 1937 right here. You know, the Progressive insurance commercial. See, Flo, that's a scorpion stinger. And you know why she doesn't have eyes? I'll tell you why. Because her identity is totally concealed. Because she's not really a girl. The girl thing's just a costume. It's one hell of a costume. Really an amazing costume. And I thought, oh, it's what's inside that counts. Wow, that's a scorpion stinger. And look, that's poison coming out of the stinger. Flotection since 1937. Well, you know what? Let's do that one. Let's do Flotection. Let's do Strong's 1937. Watch. Strong's 1937. Strong's 1937. To desire, to lust after. Oh, that's what God's angels did. There you go. Epithemeo, to desire, to lust after, long for, covet, set one's heart upon. Oh, I get it. So, Flotection, because, oh, since God's angels desired the daughters of men, they've had Flotection. That's how all the scorpions are getting fed down in the pit. And that's how all the cankerworms are getting their meals, because they're eating God's angels. And that's what we were being used for. That's why even the World Cup soccer trophy is really a scorpion stinger. Because, see, God's angels don't really even know what's going on. My people die from lack of knowledge. Look at this girl. She's really got a big bug coming out of her, because that's what she's really attached to in the pit. That's what's really running her. It's what's inside that counts. Here, just let me show you that one. Hang on one sec. See, there you go. There's some Broken Promises clothing for you. It's what's inside that counts. Wonder what's coming out of the rubber skin of the female. Look, oh wow, that's a demon. See right there? It's what's inside that counts. Let's look at this picture. There's a virgin, but it's really a bug. Oh, that's because God's angels thought it would be a good idea to have sex with the daughters of men because they were fair. And now we understand the entire system, even the god Cernunnos. See, this is Cernunnos right here. And you see what looks like horns on his head and horns on an animal. Do you understand what the system is? Do you see the V and the V? Representing one is used as just really cattle from this, and the two different energies interlocked make a W. That's literally the god Cernunnos. There you go. And so now we know why Debbie Harry will cut a cake of herself and cut her own heart out. Now we know why this girl has her hand all painted up like a demon and held over her face, because it's true. Now we know why Lady Gaga is on the cover of V magazine. Now we know why this guy's got his body painted half black and demon, and he's got this really nifty look with Ouroboros around his heart. Now we know why Lady Gaga came out on stage and she said, my performance at the Grammy Awards is about a new race of beings being birthed within the human race, because it's no different at all than what Michelangelo did when he was doing his little thing at the Medici family, and he was putting a bug inside a human body that was really using it just as a shell. Because the human host body is a shell. Oh my gosh, the Statue of Liberty is standing on a hendecagram, which is called a kelipot, an 11-pointed star, which means a peel, a husk, or a shell, inherently evil, housing the essence of holiness. So everything I told you has been right. And now, I'm sorry that I'm in kind of a mood, but I'm trying to make the point. This is coming now. We're there. We've arrived. This is about to happen. I'm supposed to get you to take a hard look at yourself, because an overwhelming horde of locusts from the pit are coming. They've devoured the system, and now they're coming out of the pit. And if you haven't repented, then your AAD is not on, and you're just hoping that you're going to be okay. Repent now. Do it now. Make sure you do it. Just, Heavenly Father God, forgive me. I'm sorry. I repent fully. Show me what to do. And just turn from your sins with all your heart. You understand now? This is no joke. I can show you pictures for the next 24 hours right now. But I have more testimony. Listen to this one more time.
What the cutting locust left, the swarming locust has eaten. What the swarming locust left, the hopping locust has eaten. And what the hopping locust left, the destroying locust has eaten. It is now time for people to repent. This is not normal.
No, it's not normal. And the time is coming now. So now, here is, again, think of it, the largest altar in the world right there. The mouth of that bug is the female reproductive system. Just think about that. The mouth of that bug is the female reproductive system that was started in the beginning. So the host body system is literally a shell, a husk, to create a new man that's coming out of the pit. Now let me share something with you that's absolutely unbelievable. I wouldn't believe it, except I saved everything to prove it to you. You see this? It says, me, stainless crown at 3:08. The Lord showed me this to add to the building. So at 3:08 a.m. this morning, you see right there at 3:08 a.m., the Lord had me, I was up, I was trying to do the video I'm doing right now. And I was like, Lord, I'm freaking out. I was in tears. I was like, help me do this. To help me, I don't know how to help these people. I don't know what to do. Tell me what I can do. Show me what to do. Help me do it. So I heard the Lord tell me, I want you to put a crown, a stainless steel crown for the building now. Cut a stainless crown out of metal. Get it ready for the building. That was at 3 this morning. And I was just going like, oh, wow. So I was on Google Images looking through clip art for a bunch of different crowns. So at 3:08, I found a crown. Or I sent myself an email at 3:08. At 3:08, the Lord showed me this to add to the building. So 3:08, and I saved it. And I added it to the show notes. Here we go. But there's proof right there at 3:08. And then I sent it to Dave at 12:01 today. See, 12:01. I sent it to Dave. I was having trouble with some of my programs. So I said, Dave, will you add this image of a crown to the show notes? And so I sent it to Dave, and I asked him to add the crown that I was going to use to the show notes. There it is, right here. That's the crown that I'm going to cut out of stainless and put in the building. And the Lord told me to look up 3:08 in the Bible. See, because at 3:08 a.m. is when I sent this email to myself. I had no idea. I was saving the image so I would remember this morning which crown I was going to cut out of metal, and that's the one. So I sent it to Dave and said, Dave, put that in the show notes. And Dave said, have you looked at the thumbnail for the channel that has the mist, the full movie? Now watch this. In folder 5 right here, we put the Mist Trailer 1, the Mist Trailer 2, which is the one I've been showing you. But right here it says the Mist full movie. You can go on YouTube and watch the full movie. And Dave said, have you looked at the thumbnail? Wow, that's crazy. It's a crown. It says Royal Kingdom. And I had not looked at it. And I was like, what? The guy's thumbnail is a crown? And I just sent you an image of a crown to put in. And the Lord told me, look up the meaning of 3:08 in the Bible. 3:08 means to recover one's sight by looking up. To look up, recover sight. The only way you can recover your sight is to turn things up because you're upside down. What have I been telling you? 100% nylon. Oh, 100% no lying. Looks like my testimony's true. Sorry, Robin Hood and all you shills. You guys are in for deep, 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 deep trouble. And let me tell you something. I feel sorry for you. Yeah, cruising. Yeah. All your little hate party. You will see what's coming. You will see the locusts that are coming, I can assure you. All of you. All of you that had your little hate parties. You were warned. Told you. So, how do you recover your sight? To look up, to recover one's sight. When you have lifted up the Son of Man, you'll know that I am He. That's what He said. So now, let's go back to the album. Let me go back to here. Now, there is absolutely no doubt in my mind. There is absolutely no doubt in my mind. Watch this, that this is what's coming. Now watch. This girl's like, and one. She pushes his head down. And 2. Now watch. Then she backs up to him like they're having sex. Now watch what she does. 2x. Watch.
And 2.
There's 1x. There's 2 X's. Did you see it? And 1 and 2. 2x. Oh, just like that mask that the Lord told me to go to Gibson's Costumes and buy a mask. Sam unmasked, the voice unmasked. That's what's really going on. Who could see through this darkness? Don't you find it fascinating that I had a company called Vampire Sunglasses because the sunglasses were so good that vampires could come out of the darkness and into the light? Did you know we were all energy vampires until we get saved? Told you. I am poison.
We're not girls. We're poison.
We're not girls, we're poison. Huh. That's funny. That's a common theme, isn't it? That seems to be the most common theme, isn't it? Hunted for dinner. Huh. Addicted to your poison. It's like a girl eating a scorpion. Wow, look at that. Addicted to your poison. Wow, broken promises. Wow, look at that. Look what's going on here. Do you understand now that all of this has been right? Everything I've been telling you has been right? All of it. All the revelation of all the information. Broken promises. Look at this. Let's just look at a few things. He's making 666 a lost cause. And look, see this, that's the serpent and a scorpion stinger. What's a lost cause? The flesh. A lost cause. V. One eye with the teardrop. V and V. Get it? A lost cause. One eye light, one eye dark. Right side up, upside down. Creature. Fishnet stockings. And on and on and on it goes. So apparently everything I've been showing you is correct. Hunted for dinner, 400 clothing line, hunted for dinner. The name of the shoes are called bait, lost angels, and the tongue of the shoes say, F you, pay me, lost angels. 400, the number 400 in the Bible means prey, food. So, now I'm telling you, it's time to repent. It's time to get ready. It's time to prepare your hearts. It's time to get your AAD set. It's time to get your pin set right. It's time to make sure your pin is in the up position, not in the down position. If your pin is seated incorrectly, you may die. Let me show you some girls. Huh. Looks inviting, kind of, right? Look what's really there. Nice tattoo. Huh. That's quite a tattoo on your back. Why would you do that? Here's something really interesting. When I was doing the first container, and I was outside doing the Statue of Liberty, which the Lord God told me to put the Statue of Liberty in that first container with the tidal wave covering it. He told me to make a tidal wave covering the Statue of Liberty. That locust jumped up where I was working. Look at the size of that thing. Where I was working on the Statue of Liberty. You got to be kidding me. So, now let me show you the Google Doodle for today. It's Alice in Wonderland. There's a dead sheep on the back of her head. Here's the Cheshire Cat in a tree. This represents, maybe the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Sir John Tyndale's 200th birthday. No way. So, Alice in Wonderland. Do y'all know what the name Alice means? The name Alice means of nobility. See? Alice is of nobility. That's what the name Alice means. That's why the book Alice in Wonderland is a mockery. We're a bunch of princes, God's princes in Wonderland. We're really being eaten by worms from a pit that are turning us into food for locusts. That's what all this imagery leads to. That's what it all spells out. ABC. No doubt about it. Not arguable. Mystery solved. Ever hear the band Alice in Chains? Of nobility in chains. Everlasting chains of darkness. Forward and backwards ligaments of the body. Told you. Okay, so now the Lord had me start this video by showing you can be open and honest with everybody. You don't have anything to be ashamed of. Do you think anyone's better? I'm not worried about anyone out there thinking they're better than me. Obviously, there's these channels that think they are. Some of these people that do these Jonathan Kleck false prophet video channels, those guys are, I can't even imagine being one of them. How horrifying that's going to be. But they think they're better. The key is to admit who you are and what you've done and just say you're sorry and you deserve your punishment. Look up, see the truth, take an image of the Virgin, turn it upside down. It's a dead sheep. You're the sheep. Because the Virgin equals dead sheep. God's angels. It all makes sense now, doesn't it? Now it's like, wow, this is so... So now here's the news. I've been told that there's a bell out there that I'm supposed to ring, and I'm supposed to ring it pretty soon. I don't know exactly when, but I can bet you it's very soon. I would be willing to bet you you don't have very much time. It could be in the next day. Who knows? I know my birthday is March 16th, 3/16, and my name is John, Jon, Jonathan, Jonathan. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that through him you might be saved. It's time to get your pen. Get your pen seated correctly. Turn it up. Make sure you got your pen up, not down. Make sure you got it up. I'm speaking metaphorically. Make sure you got your AAD turned on, your automatic activation device. The best way to know your AAD is turned on is be completely confessed up. If you have done anything that you're hiding from anyone that you know you shouldn't be hiding it from them, just come clean. Let God deal with it. If they don't forgive you, that's their thing. You have to come clean. Now, I want to be very clear about something. If you've given someone medication, who cares? I mean, who cares? I just told my doctor because I felt the need to tell my doctor because I had signed a contract and I knew I had violated that contract. So I felt the burden that I needed to be honest because I know him. You know, I don't want to have a fake relation. Hey, how's it going? Oh yeah. How you doing on pain? Not so good. Yeah, maybe you can fill my prescription, right? Yeah, no problem. Yeah, but I forgot to tell you I gave some to somebody else and I said I wouldn't do that. So anyway, whatever. Just be honest. Okay. All right. Now, every time I do one of these videos, you know, I know I forget stuff. It's like, guys, I've been crying. I've been yelling. I've been like, I don't want to have to go tell everybody. I don't want anyone to die. I don't want anyone to suffer. I don't want to see anybody suffer. Nobody, no one. Not even these Fruit Loops that do these channels that say just ridiculous things about me. I mean, lunatic stuff. It's like, dude, I don't want to see them running for their lives because they're being chased by a scorpion from the pit. It's like, but they made their bed, man. Now there's just no way out of it for them. There's not. I wish I could help them. So yeah, that bothers me. That stuff bothers me. Okay. I'm thinking about having a radio program or two before this all ends. I'm going to pray about it, and that way I used to do radio and people could call in. I'd take a bunch of phone calls and talk to people and, you know, give you a little bit of time to ask questions if maybe I can help you. It's just a way to have a forum. I don't know. Maybe I can do that before this comes to an end. I'll look into it and see if I can do it. Maybe I can. I don't have all the answers for you guys. I have the information that solves the mystery of everything. It's here. It's all here. It's all in the folders. But I can't answer all your questions that you have between you and the Lord. That's between you and the Lord. I have my own stuff between me and the Lord. I'm like, hey man, He prayed, and I was like, the Lord doesn't mind you coming in and asking him any question you need anytime you need. I mean, he's your dad. Dads that love their children don't mind giving them advice and telling them what he'd like to see them do. The Bible says the Lord desires that not even one should perish. Okay. All right. Well, I've drugged this out long enough, and I love you guys in Christ, and I've been so burdened to bring you guys this news. Let me just make sure. I don't want to have missed something totally obvious. You can go watch the whole film. We have it in the show notes. Let's see, the East African thing. Yep. That, y'all want to see something really crazy? Watch this. Watch Bananarama, Venus. Watch this one. Slow down the music and the first set of lyrics. And when it says, and Venus is, they say his name. They don't say her. You go read the lyrics. It'll say, and Venus is her name. Slow down the audio. They say, and Venus is his name. Watch that one. Think of that. Bananarama. Just stop and think about that. Bananarama. Really? Venus. I'm your Venus. I'm your fire, your desire. Oh, ha, ha, ha. Then go watch Robert Palmer, Addicted to Love. And then watch the Spice Girls, The Two Become One. It's ridiculous. If you can't figure everything out by watching those 3 videos and those girls in those videos, you'll never figure it out. All you got to do is watch those 3 videos and go, they're hunters. They're hunting God's angels. Okay? And it was pride that got everybody here. All right. All right, guys. Sorry to be the bearer of such heavy news, but man, I've been carrying this around for days. Ugh. All right. It's going to be okay. If you're in Christ, it's going to be all right. You got a parachute. You got an AAD. And I'm here to tell you, parachutes are made to open. Group hug. Okay. Parachutes are made to open. Okay? Don't forget to check your equipment, okay? Last thing a good skydiver does is you always check your pin. It's the last thing you do. You always make sure that pin's up. And if you have an AAD, you make sure that AAD's on. Okay? All right, now I showed you metaphorically what to do to make sure that your pin is seated up. Go look at all my folders. Just go look at all the data I have. Go to this is it. You guys listening to this video, post those folders for everybody. Post those folders in the show notes or in the comment section. Here are the show notes. Here they are. You know, this is it. Here's 2019. Go look at those folders. Just go through all those pictures that I've gone through and posted for you guys. Man, if you can't figure it out from that, you'll never figure it out. Just go through all that stuff. Make sure that pin is up and that you can see the truth. And then make sure your AAD is on, that you're confessed up and you're not trying to hide anything. Okay? Victory. Y'all want to read Isaiah 55? Yeah? I think you do. Let me show you. Isaiah 55. Let's do Isaiah 55. Anyway, I love you guys. I'm sorry to be the bearer of such heavy news. It's coming. I guarantee you it's coming. I guarantee it. Okay, so here you go. Ready? Let the wicked forsake his way, and the unrighteous man his thoughts. Let him return unto the Lord, and he will have mercy upon him, and to our God, and he will abundantly pardon. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts higher than your thoughts. For as the rain cometh down and the snow from heaven, and returneth not thither, but watereth the earth, and maketh it bring forth and bud, that it may give seed to the sower and bread to the eater, so shall my word that goeth forth out of my mouth, it shall not return to me void, but it shall accomplish that which I please. It shall prosper in the thing whereto I send it. For ye shall go out with joy. Here you go, guys. For you shall go out with joy and be led forth with peace. Wait till you see what's in that building. The mountains and the hills shall break forth before you into singing, and all the trees of the field shall clap their hands. Instead of the thorn shall come up a fir tree. Instead of the briar shall come up the myrtle tree. And it shall be to the Lord for a name, for an everlasting sign that shall not be cut off. The trees of the field will clap their hands. Victory. The two have become one in Christ. That's the only way to get out of here. The only way to get out of here is to become one in Christ. Confess your sins, repent, get ready. The King's coming. All glory to God. I want to give all glory to God. Father, forgive me if I've anyway am being rude or snarky. I don't mean to be. I just don't know how to deliver such a serious message, except just the way I did. All right, guys.